3 weeks ago, my son said something to my wife. He didn't know I was in the hallway.
My son said, "There's no point in asking Dad. He's not coming." My wife didn't argue. She just said, "I know." And that was it. No fight and no drama, just a fact.
Like saying the sky is blue. Dad won't come. My son is 17 and my daughter is 14. And somewhere along the way they stopped expecting me to show up. Not because I left. I'm right here. I live in this house. I eat at this table. I sleep in that bedroom. I'm here every day, but I'm not there. And 3 weeks ago, standing in that hallway, I heard it out loud for the first time. What they've probably been thinking for years. Don't bother asking Dad. I'm 56 years old. And I just realized something that terrifies me. I'm losing my kids. Not to drugs, not to divorce, not to distance. I'm losing them. While sitting in the same house. And the worst part, I think I understand why. I'm going to tell you what happened next. What I did for the first time in my life. And what it's starting to change. Because if you're hearing this and something feels familiar, you're not too late. I almost was.
Let me tell you who I am, or who I thought I was. I own a manufacturing business, 38 employees. I started it when I was 29, from nothing, borrowed money, worked out of a garage, built it into something real. House paid off at 48, both kids in good schools. My wife doesn't have to work. On paper, I'm the American dream. I did everything my father never did. My dad was a good man, quiet, worked at a plant for 35 years. We never went hungry, but we also never talked. I don't remember him asking me how I felt. Not once. I remember him coming home tired, sitting in his chair, watching TV, and us knowing, don't bother Dad. He's tired. I told myself I'd be different. I'd give my kids more. A bigger house, better schools, vacations. And I did. I gave them everything. Everything I thought mattered. But here's what I'm starting to understand. I gave them exactly what my father gave me. A provider who's present in the house, and absent everywhere else. I didn't repeat his poverty. I repeated his silence. And I didn't even see it. Because it's the only version of father I've ever known. Let me tell you about a Tuesday, October 14th. I know the exact date because my wife still has it on the fridge. My daughter Emily had her first dance recital. She was 8, ballet. She'd been practicing in the living room for weeks. Every night after dinner, she'd put on this pink tutu and dance in front of the TV. And every night she'd say, "Daddy, watch this part." And I'd look up from my phone and say, "That's great, honey." I wasn't watching. The recital was on a Tuesday at 2 p.m. and I knew about it for a month. But that week, we had a quality audit at the factory. Big client. The kind you don't say no to. Monday night, I told my wife, "I'm gonna try to make it, but tomorrow's gonna be tough." She looked at me, not angry, just tired. She said, "Michael, she asks me every day if you're coming." I said, "I know, I'll try." She said, "You always say that." And she was right, I always said that. "I'll try" was my way of saying no without feeling bad about it. Tuesday came, 2 p.m. I was at the factory, and I remember looking at the clock on the wall, 2:15, and thinking, she's probably on stage right now. And then turning back to the audit. I got home at 7, and Emily was on the couch, already in her pajamas. I said, "How was the recital?" She said, "Good." One word. I said, "I'm sorry I couldn't make it. Work stuff." She said, "It's okay, Daddy." And she went back to watching TV. My wife had taken pictures, and I looked through them that night. Emily on stage, smiling, and something about her eyes in every photo. She was looking out at the audience, scanning. I don't know for sure she was looking for me, but I think she was. And I want to tell you, I felt terrible. But the truth? I didn't. Not then. I told myself, she's fine. Kids are resilient. I'll make it to the next one. I didn't make it to the next one either. Or the one after that. And somewhere around the third or fourth one I missed. She stopped asking if I was coming. My wife stopped reminding me. And I didn't notice. Because that's the thing about absence. It doesn't announce itself. It just becomes normal. For everyone. After I heard my son in the hallway that day, I didn't sleep that night. I kept hearing it. Don't bother asking Dad. And for the first time, I didn't push it away. I didn't tell myself they're just teenagers or they'll understand when they're older. I sat with it and I asked myself something I've never asked. Why? Why am I like this? Not what's wrong with them. What's wrong with me? And the answer wasn't what I expected. I thought I'd find laziness or selfishness. But what I found was fear. I don't know how to be close to my kids. I never learned. My father loved me. I know that now. But he showed it the only way he knew how. By working. By making sure we had enough. By being solid. Reliable. Quiet. And I copied him. Not because it worked. But because it was all I had. Work is easy for me. There are rules. Targets. Outcomes. I know exactly what to do at the factory. But sitting on the couch with my 14-year-old daughter, trying to have a conversation, I feel like I'm drowning. I don't know what to ask. I don't know how to listen. I don't know what to do with feelings. Not hers. Not mine. And for 20 years, instead of admitting I didn't know how, I just stayed at work, where I knew how. I wasn't choosing work over my family. I was hiding at work. From a job I didn't know how to do. Being a dad. And once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it.
A week after the hallway moment, I did something I've never done, and it scared me more than any business decision I've ever made. I left work at 3 p.m. on a Thursday because my son had a basketball game at 4, and I'd never been to one. Let me say that again, because I need you to hear it. My son is 17, and he's played basketball since he was 11, and I have never been to a single game. Not one. So I drove to the school and sat in the bleachers, and I didn't tell anyone I was coming because I didn't want to make it a thing. I just showed up. The game started, and I watched my son play, and I realized something that hit me right in the chest. He's good. He's actually good, and I didn't know that. I didn't know my own son was good at basketball because I'd never bothered to watch. Halfway through the second quarter, he saw me, and he did a double take like he wasn't sure it was really me sitting there. Then he just looked away and kept playing. After the game, I waited by the car, and he came out with his teammates and saw me and walked over, and he said, "What are you doing here?" Not hostile and not happy, just confused. Like seeing me there didn't make sense. I said, "I came to watch your game." And he said, "Why?" And that question, that one word, why, that's the one that broke something in me, because it means that me showing up is so unusual that it requires an explanation. My own son needed a reason for why his father came to watch him play. I said, "Because I should have been coming all along, and I'm sorry I haven't." He didn't say much, just, "Okay, cool." And we drove home and he put in his earbuds and we didn't talk. But he was in my car and I was there, and that was more than I'd given him in a long time. That was 3 weeks ago. Last Thursday I went to another game, and I didn't announce it, I just went. And when he saw me this time, he didn't do a double take, he just nodded, like maybe it was starting to be less strange that his father was in the bleachers. And I'm not going to tell you everything's fixed because it's not, and I'd be lying if I said it was. 2 days ago I tried to talk to Emily. I sat down on the couch and said, "Tell me about school." And she looked at me like I had 3 heads. She said, "Since when do you care about school?" And it wasn't mean, it was just honest. And she's right to be suspicious because I've been gone for 14 years. Not physically gone, but gone in every way that matters, and I don't get to walk back in and be Dad of the Year. It doesn't work like that, and I know it. But I sat there, and I said, "You're right, I haven't asked before, but I'm asking now." And she told me about her art teacher. 3 minutes, maybe 4, and then she went to her room. 4 minutes after 14 years of silence, and it's not much, but it's not nothing. And I'll take it because it's more than I deserve, and more than I had yesterday. Here's what I want to say to you, and I mean this. If you are listening to this and something is pulling at you, some feeling in your chest that you keep pushing down because you don't know what to do with it, I get it. I pushed it down for 20 years and I told myself it was fine, and that my kids understood, and that I was doing it all for them. But it's not because you're a bad father, and that's important. It's because no one taught you how to be a present one. Your dad didn't, and his dad didn't, and it goes back further than any of us can remember. It's a long line of men who loved their families and showed it the only way they knew how, by working and providing and being strong and silent. And it was never enough, not because the love wasn't real, but because love that your kids can't feel doesn't reach them. I'm 56, and my kids are still in my house, and I still have time, but not a lot because my son leaves for college next year, but some, and I'm not wasting it anymore. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm figuring it out one awkward conversation at a time, but I'm in the room now, and that's the first step. Just be in the room. Every week on this channel, a man says what he never said out loud, and if something in you needed to hear this, there's more. If you're watching this right now, go be in the room. You don't have to say the perfect thing, and you don't have to fix 10 years in one conversation. Just be there, and let them see you trying, because that's enough for today. Tomorrow there's another game at 2 p.m. and I'll be there. Where will you be?